recording, so now we
now we get Bubba coming in. And
yeah. Your dog might as well be
Batman.
Batman because he is the knight.
I am the knight.
I didn't see him at all on the floor, dude. That's that sound. That's like, I don't know. I think my uncle taught me that sound, and that's how to get all his horses and his cattle to come in. It was like that weird. So it sounds like something in distress, like a mouse or whatever.
I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah. Oh, something's injured. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna die. I told you we got a new puppy, right?
Yeah.
Got a puppy. He's real cute. His name is, we were like not sure what to name him, and then right out the gate, my daughter's like, "That's Malcolm." And I was like, all right.
Is he in the middle?
Yeah, he's right in the middle of us all day. He is a burn.
Oh my God, it's Ethan Hawke. Oh my God, it's Ethan Hawke. Oh my God, it's Malcolm in middle.
Trying to find the best picture I got of him, and I got no pictures of him that are of him like standing still. Oh, there's one. There you go. There he is. I'll show him to our viewers. If you want to see a cute puppy, come check out our YouTube channel, because that's my cute dog right there.
That's my puppy dog.
He's a Bernedoodle.
He's my puppy dog, and I like that puppy dog a lot.
He is so smart. He chose to shit right in the middle of the floor instead of the corner and outside.
Makes it easier to clean up.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah,
he's just trying to be considerate.
It's like, I'm going to blast some chunks here. I might as well do it in the middle of the floor where everybody else is.
That day I learned an important lesson. Polyester and cake don't mix.
Polyester and cake don't mix. That was a good one that we didn't say from last week's Homeward Bound was when he's eating the cake and he's like, "Oh, it's real good. Come on, everybody, dig in." And just the way
Michael J. Fox. Everyone.
Yeah, play for everyone.
Well, he's doing the act like you don't want it. He's like, "Oh, I don't want any of this cake." And he's eating the cake and nobody's around.
I couldn't possibly.
Couldn't possibly have any of this cake. I don't want any of this cake. Because that's how Sassy taught him to get food, which didn't make any sense because she just goes over and gets picked up by Hope, and Hope immediately starts offering her shrimp. And then she's like,
feed her.
Not just offering her shrimp. She starts shoving shrimp.
Like, you love shrimp, dumbass.
Shrimp. Eat it. And it's like, no.
Eat the shrimp.
Yeah. Or her other great line at the very end of the movie when Hope picks her up and hugs her, and she's like, "Honey, Sassy can't breathe."
Yeah.
And that made me laugh.
Yeah.
I used to rewind that a lot.
So much of Sally Field's lines are funny as hell.
Yeah.
She's such a great actress.
She is. And I wish her and Carol Burnett would do something before they get so old that they're not able to perform. Because Carol Burnett, she shows up at a lot of award shows and stuff, and she's still funny, dude. She's so on top of it. And I can only hope to be that like lucid in my old age. I don't think I am. I'm already like having a hard time just staying on one like subject line of a conversation. There's no way I get to 85 and I'm not just like, dogs are clean. Also, did you know moose?
Just trying to make the 41.
1 year at a time.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
Trying to make it to Tuesday.
I got nothing else but Tuesday.
I gotta say that people love the grippers.
love it. Them grippers. Trey's feet.
People pointing out your brother's toes, dude. Like, I know, I love it. I love it.
Your brother's toes,
dude. Crack me up.
Join us on our YouTube channel, everyone. Welcome back to Nostalgialand. We do some fun stuff visually that I think make the jokes, they land better sometimes. And our biggest thing right now is Trey's feet are officially going to start funding this podcast.
Let's go.
with his
old gripper dudes.
Old grippers on, what's the footfinder.com? Feetfinder.com. Yeah. Trey's luscious toesies.
I heard this joke today from one of the people in the operating room that made me laugh. There's this student nurse, and her supervisor's like, "Oh, the guy in like room 12 had a really bad asthma attack. So like he's struggling to breathe and he can't do a whole lot. So we just need you to like sponge bath like his chest. Yeah, sponge bob him. Which
sometimes you got to.
Yeah.
Hey,
his chest and his arms and his legs, just because he can't get up to go to the shower because he can't breathe. She's like, okay. She goes in and the guy's on the breathing machine and she's giving him the sponge bath and he's like, he has the mask on. He's like, "Are my testicles black?" And she's like,
"Oh God."
He probably didn't mean that, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And the guy like sits up a little bit and he's like, are my testicles black? And she's like, so she like lifts and like checks and she's like, no, sir, your testicles are fine. And the guy like takes a deep breath and takes the mask off and he's like, are my test results back?
Whoops. That's pretty good. That's classic. I like that one. That's good, man. Yeah. Well, welcome back again. We're celebrating in between times of Thanksgiving movies.
We're in the between time.
We're in the betweens. Well, a lot of people started decorating. I've seen people.
Christmas is coming.
Christmas. What's her name is already. She's thawing out. She's coming.
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey. Yeah. I don't want.
Dude, she is defrosted. Halloween passes and Thanksgiving just gets plowed right over.
Yeah.
Speaking of Frozen, have you heard the conspiracy theory that Disney made the Frozen movie so that when you Google Walt Disney Frozen, instead of it coming up with information about his Walt head being frozen, it comes up with all the movie stuff.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why that bothers so many people. But like, yeah, why not? Like, he's super rich. Why not try to freeze the man and just see what happens?
That's what they did with Ted Williams.
It's his life. Just let's figure it out. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Why not?
Why not? People are like, that makes him a bad. Why does that make him a bad person to freeze him? Anyways, we're going down tangent. Yeah, Mariah Carey is alive and well though, and she is breakneck speeding us to December the 25th. Without any regards to what, any holiday in between or celebration in between. But yeah, so we thought of this time on Nostalgialand. We're like, there are some like Thanksgiving movies, but it's not a big genre of film and stuff.
Go back because we've done Son-in-Law already. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, we did Son-in-Law. Yeah, and I can't even remember some of ours from last year's. I'll have to go back and re-listen, but
Steven
as you
Tyler
should do.
PJs.
Yeah, Steve Tyler PJs. So this week we're bringing you Uncle Buck. We're talking about the great 1989 film Uncle Buck with John Candy.
And if you can't think of a movie, just go to that John Candy shaped well, baby.
He's the best, good, man. Dude. And I got one in mind for next year too.
Oh yeah,
already.
Ooh, we're gonna do it. Yeah. So I mean, John Candy, he's been on our list this whole year. Like starting since last December, we had John Candy in our mix.
We've done Summer Rental.
Yeah,
he was in Home Alone,
Great Outdoors, Home Alone. He was in that.
Trey missed the. That was just the me and you. Great Outdoors.
That's right. I'm sorry you weren't here, but I mean, your kid's
cool. I was gonna say it was pretty important.
If you have not seen The Great Outdoors or Summer Rental or any movie that has the name John Candy in it,
you should probably watch that movie.
Go see it.
Get in there.
Go see it. Go see it. They're great.
Get in there.
And like when he did he did Wagons East, I believe was his final film.
Was it Wagons East or was it Wagons West? No.
Maybe it was Wagons West.
I'll have to
Wagons West.
I thought it was a play on the Wagons West, but it could be wrong.
Yeah.
But he ended up passing away doing that movie. During that movie, the filming.
Man, dude, yeah, you're right. Wagons East.
Yeah,
yeah, because there was another one that was with. Is that the same one with Chris Farley? No. There's one with Chris Farley
and Matthew Perry.
That they did, which is hysterical.
Oh, my buddy Aaron would kill me for not knowing the name of that movie.
That's gonna drive me nuts. But yeah,
and they had enough. He had already filmed the footage for Canadian Bacon.
Oh, right.
And a lot of people have not seen Canadian Bacon, but that movie is so funny.
Canada Man, Canada Man.
Also stars
Bacon, Tastes Like Ham.
Our good Danny DeVito's wife,
Rhea Perlman.
Rhea Perlman, yes, in Canadian Bacon.
Speaking of Danny DeVito, he was the original choice for Uncle Buck.
No way,
I don't know. I don't think that would work as well.
Wouldn't work.
Every single name that I read that was like Tom Cruise.
No.
What? Like you wanted Uncle Buck to be Tom Cruise?
First of all, gross.
Now I don't know how many of the names because people throw stuff around.
Yeah, and IMDb is a public website.
Yeah, so things get like, and I've seen videos and all this stuff about different things. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt and really try to look into stuff. But I know that Danny DeVito was on set. Like he went and it was creative differences and stuff, and he ended up walking away from the project. And that's when John Hughes brought in John Candy.
Oh my gosh.
But dude. I mean, John Hughes and John Candy, it's like peas in a pod.
Yeah.
Like they did so many movies together. Like all the movies that we mentioned basically are John Hughes and John Candy.
But that's like the symbiotic relationship of it. It's like, okay, John, what did you write?
Yeah, what do I need to do?
Yeah, what did you write? And then where's John Candy? Is he what part is he playing in this film? And it's like, just make that movie. Almost in the way like Tarantino, okay, who's oh my gosh. It's Jackson, sorry.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson is like, okay, Quinn, who's Sam going to be in this one? Like, and you just roll with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of part of the fun of knowing, like, okay, it's John Hughes movie. You getting this.
I think what John Hughes did with John Candy was he found how to use John Candy as a person and as a character actor and as a comedian. He and create almost a story around what John Candy brought to the table, which is the lovable guy that can be hysterically funny, physical comedy. He can do all of that, and so he knew what he
too, dude.
Yeah, he can be.
Yes, like that's. I think we've talked a lot about that extensively. How like when John Candy does that like little like eye kind of twitch, like look to you like little sided, and you're just he pulls in that kind of weight. And I mean, that's not meant to be like a play on his physical fat joke, but he actually pulls in like, oh yeah, this guy might be a little like off, like tilted, like a little
hinges
insane.
maybe a little loose there.
Yeah, needs a little work down in the basement. Because, yeah, but John Candy, man. So he plays. This movie starts out great. It's Uncle Buck. It starts out just in the middle of the night, isn't it? Is that like the one of the first scenes? It's the middle of the night and the phone ringing. I can't remember.
No,
I've watched this movie 3 times, and now I can't remember the first 2 minutes of this film.
It starts with them at breakfast.
They're coming home from
from
school.
Doesn't it start with him and
the sister,
his girlfriend eating breakfast or eating together, and she's like, "Are you going to be at work tomorrow?" And
that's next.
Okay,
yeah.
So it starts with them coming home from school and Tia. So the older sister is Tia, and then you have Maisie and Miles.
Kids.
Miles and Maisie,
the cutest kids of
the little girl is so adorable,
so cute,
and Macaulay Culkin is fantastic as always. You can't go wrong with him. And Tia, the older sister, the entire movie you just want to punch her in the mouth because she is a terrible person.
So brilliantly, though, too.
She's a terrible person.
Yeah, I remember it now. Sorry, she comes around the corner because she's walking home from school, and Maisie's already there, so I don't know how this little girl got home, but then Macaulay Culkin's like, he got sneaking chased in. Yeah, he's sneaking in through backyards and like through other people's like houses and stuff to try to get to his. You find out that like a 6th grader like beat him while he chased him down with his bike and beat him with his shoe.
Yeah,
this poor child.
Yeah,
they don't talk about that at all. It's like he's like bullied at school, but like that's his intro. But they have a great right out the bat because like she's like trying to mom them. She's trying to parent them.
Yeah,
the 17-year-old Tia.
15, right?
Okay, I had debate about it because I looked it up and it was like how old? Because I was like, how old is she supposed to be? And the internet was like she's 17.
Okay,
but then in the movie, John Candy's like
says she's 15.
She's 15 and she's angry and confused.
Yeah,
and all this stuff. And I was like, maybe that was a play to his character because he doesn't know how old any of the kids are when this starts. And he's like, well, Jennifer, he's like calling them. He's not even remembering their names. And he's like,
but by that point in the movie
now. Yeah. Good point.
He's on it. He knows where they are.
Yeah. So maybe it was 15, which is not okay. It's not okay.
No. Well, she can't drive on her own.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's true. So maybe it was. It's not a lack of driver's license. It's a lack of, you're not legally allowed to drive.
Right.
Yet. But
she would only have a learner's permit at that time.
She's doing it great though, because right out the gate, like she's trying to mom them, and like the other little girl's like, I don't get it. Like, why can't I say? She's like, you can't say shit. She's like, well, you don't say shit. It's not a good word.
Yeah, she's like, you just said it.
But you just said it, and it's like, yeah, but I wasn't telling you. But then you said shit twice, and the little girl Maisie, like both Macaulay Culkin and Maisie are just keeping up with everybody. Like they are not side characters.
I'm telling mom.
Yeah. She's like, I'm telling mom.
You're just supposed to be here to open the door for us. You're not supposed to tell us what to do.
That's what Macaulay Culkin says to her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then because she tells him he's trying to hang his jacket on the hook, and then she says, pick up your backpack.
Yeah.
And he's like, That's what he says. You're not supposed to tell us what to do. And then
She like grabs
she
his
says
arm.
something. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He's like, God damn it! I'm
He's like, your nails are digging on my arm. God damn it!
yeah, like dude, this kid's like a grown ass
Oh,
man.
she's like, don't swear. And then that's when Maisie's like, you just did.
Yes.
He's like, you said shit twice, but once you only meant it.
I'm telling your mom.
But I'm telling mom, yeah. So many good lines spit out
But
of
only
that,
once
so-
did you mean it.
But I mean, Tia, the character, she is just off. Like 90% of this movie. This movie's an hour and 40 minutes. But like I would say an hour and 20 minutes, she is just like something horrible happened to her. And then you find out what it is because she's just giving an attitude to everyone. And then you find out it's because they moved from Indianapolis to a Chicago suburb is what I'm assuming.
Somewhere in Illinois.
Yeah. So it's
Originally
nearby.
the movie was supposed to take place in St. Louis.
Oh yeah.
So it's a Hughes thing, like a John Hughes thing, to do his movies in Chicago. He's got a very large love for, or he did, R.I.P. But a very big love for Chicago, and this was kind of a break out of that for him, where he was going to do it in St. Louis, but it was supposed to be set in cold weather.
Yeah.
And apparently St. Louis was unusually warm that year, so that's why it ended up going back and being filmed outside of Chicago, like every other Hughes movie.
Is that like why M. Night Shyamalan
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong?
always does Philadelphia, like in around Philadelphia, because he likes to. He
I just
doesn't like
think
to
it's
sleep
because
in
he
his own
writes
bed.
bad movies.
I'm
kidding.
Just calling it out. I just think it's because he's terrible.
I mean, some of his movies are great, but
Some of them, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
after like Signs, you might as well just not watch M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movies.
Man, I was
Swing away,
so
Roy.
What?
Swing away, Roy.
swing away. I was so in love with The Village
Yeah, you would be. That movie's terrible.
for like the first like 90 minutes.
It's so bad though.
And then it got to minute 91 and they reveal what actually happened.
Yes.
And I was like, I hate
You're like,
this.
oh, fuck.
Damn it.
Yeah, you're like, God damn it, M. Night Shyamalan Ding
is
Dong.
what we're
That's where
going
he got
with.
his name.
That's
That's what he got his name.
Sorry, I was trying to look
You know
up-
what he was?
What?
He's this day and age's Stephen King.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't know how to end a story.
He doesn't. Yeah. They
but
do just feel like, okay,
That's
we'll
when
wrap
you just
this up.
call Kubrick and you're like, hey.
No, you call Kubrick and you're like, hey, here's the basic premise of my story.
Now
And he
just-
goes, I'll make a masterpiece.
now
like,
just
bitch.
Now just obsess over it and make a really good
Yeah.
movie. Thanks.
Give me 20 minutes. We'll be done. Sorry, I was looking up because I was like, Gabby Hoffman, who plays Maisie in this, she was in a couple films that I like that I remember watching as a kid and being like, she's really cute. Like she was like definitely a crush of mine. But I was like, was she in Hook? And I'm looking it up now. No, she was not.
No, she's
the
not.
little girl from Hook.
She's not Maggie.
But she was in the Sleepless in Seattle and Field of Dreams.
You could have asked me, wait, what?
What? Yeah.
Which kid are you talking about? The
Gabby-
little kid?
The little girl, yes, in this movie.
She's not.
Which
I
was
said-
And you're
89.
saying that she's a crush of yours?
Yeah, but she was 6 years old in
Oh,
89.
you're not
But then
looking
when
at,
she was
you're
in,
not looking at me.
No,
Okay.
it's- yeah, the
I was
glasses
like,
are-
I didn't say that.
No.
I thought you were looking.
No, I'm confused by what's
when
going
I
on.
was a kid, she was in that movie with Christina Ricci and
Okay.
whoever Rosie O'Donnell played and stuff like that.
Harriet the Spy?
No, not Harriet the Spy, but a good one.
It's a Rosie O'Donnell movie. It's,
Yeah. No, I'll look it up, but it was
No,
No,
it was-
back in the day, she put out some bangers. She was in A League of Their Own.
that's true.
She was, yeah, she was good.
But
That's
that
pretty
wasn't-
much where the list ends.
Now and then,
She was in the Flintstones.
Yeah, okay.
now and then.
Okay, and I forget that you I didn't realize you were talking about when you were 6.
Yeah,
I'm like, bro, and you were born in 89.
I was 89. I'm an 89 baby, so I just made the cut.
Yeah, okay. So
babe.
I'm like, holy crap.
I got almost
What are you
a
talking
full
about?
year.
Yeah, I'm
in
like, dude,
89.
because I thought you were talking about Tia. And I'm like, okay, yeah, she's cute, I
She's
guess.
cute, yeah. I mean, she's
No, but it makes more sense now.
she
And
aged like fine wine though. She's beautiful.
I was
now, you see her.
gonna talk about this later, but the Maisie, the actress,
yeah, Gabby Hoffman.
goes on to be Buck's girlfriend's daughter in Field of Dreams.
Wait, what?
Yes, in Field of Dreams,
Oh,
Uncle
yeah.
Buck's girlfriend is the wife,
Is the wife
of Kevin Costner,
Oh,
and the mother of Maisie.
And
Why
she
did I think that was-
chokes on a hot dog.
And then he can't
Moonlight
play,
Graham saves her.
Can't play ghost baseball anymore.
No, because now you're old.
And he's totally fine with it.
Because now you're old, Dr. Man.
There are
But, okay,
rules.
we'll cover Field of Dreams
You
later.
walk out the baseline.
We'll cover Field of Dreams, Dreams later.
No more baseball.
If you build it, he will come all over you. Wait, what?
No, what? No. Ow. I kicked the table really hard with that. It hurt. The statement was terrible.
All right, so before he passes out,
It really hurt. I kicked the shit out
so
of
we've
it.
introduced all the kids, and
I am your father.
their
Yes.
grandfather has a heart attack, and so the parents have to go to Indianapolis.
But before we get to there, we meet Buck.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you why Buck's there. Like, why is
Right,
Uncle Buck
yeah.
at the house?
But Buck, we meet Buck and his girlfriend. They're sitting in a pie shop.
Yeah,
It
well,
was really nice.
she's asking him like you're gonna be at work because she works for a tire company,
Yeah, it's
or,
like
or a
hers.
mechanic company. I don't know exactly what it is, but
It's her name. It's
and
her
she's
tires.
like, "You're gonna be at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be there."
They never specify what, like if he's a mechanic or if he's going to
Like
be
maybe a salesman or something?
Yeah, salesman.
Like
Just
you're
front of
gonna be there.
yeah, front of house. He'd be great front of house.
And
guy.
he even says, "If I could think of a good excuse, I would tell it to you."
Yeah,
He's so
like,
upfront with like, "I
yeah.
will not be." And
Yeah.
it turns out you find out later that he basically makes his money off of rigged horse races, and he knows the guy that's rigging the races, and the guy owes him stuff, or he does whatever and
Shop stuff
gets
for
his
him,
way
everything.
around, and,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's how he makes his money for the year.
Yes.
until the next big race that the guy rigs, and so he just lives like a bum. He has like a shitty apartment right across from the
Bowling
Chicago Cubs stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wrigley.
Yeah, Wrigley. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. Thank you, Wrigley Field.
Probably sell tickets for his roof because
You
you
can
can
actually-
look it over and like
You can actually go and see his
There's
apartment.
bleachers
Oh,
on
no
the.
way.
There's
Yeah.
bleachers on that roof now.
that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought there was one of those buildings where it's like people to sell tickets to like you want to get on a roof. It's like probably the best. I mean, we have better bathrooms. We've talked about stadium bathrooms and just the nightmares of what's going on in there.
Peeing into a trough.
God, dude, I can't.
Hey, want to see my wiener? I'm gonna pee real quick. Okay?
Everybody, man, there was one dude where it's like my 600-pound life guy walked in,
He'd like to see his wiener.
and like he came up, stepped up to plate. It's not legally deed, but like he stepped up to the plate, and like I don't think anyone was gonna say anything, and like one dude in the back was like, "You really know what you're doing down there, huh?" And the guy was like, he was just like, "Yeah, I know, I'm just seeing it."
I don't need to see it. I can still feel it.
Yeah, let's find it. So Buck, like you said, he lives like month to month. He does odd jobs. Like that's kind of like, how does he make his money? You're like, what's his name from How I Met Your Mother?
Barney?
Barney, yeah.
Please.
Where it's like, what do you do for a living? He's just like,
Please.
please. Yes. But he's still a nice guy, decent enough. But anyways, his brother and their wife and family, they moved to Chicago area at some point, which must have been a couple of years back because he's confused about how old these children are. And they call him in the middle of the night because their grandfather had a heart attack, the wife's dad. And they're calling him, and I love it because they're going through their little black book of like neighbors and people like around who they could, like someone could come and watch the kids for a couple days and be with them. And like the dad's finally like, well, what about Buck? And like immediately the mom's like, no, like I'm not calling your idiot brother. And like they get him on the phone finally because no one else is there, and convince him, come watch the kids. And John Candy's like, oh, okay, I'm down. And the dad's like, puts the phone down, okay, bye. And he turns to his wife and he's like, he was asleep. So I woke. That's a good sign.
Yeah, like this is the time you should be asleep. He was asleep.
He's doing better. He's all right. But I love the way that he apologizes for not seeing his brother. He's like, and I'm sorry about burning those bushes by your house. I had no idea they were going to go all over.
You were right. I should have moved the barbecue grill further from them.
So like John Candy again plays a great
Plays
lovable,
like the screw up brother.
Yes, but lovable because he's like, I know I did wrong and I see it and I understand now. So there's some growth.
It's
but
really
still
funny because he's kind of a shitty guy.
Yes, yeah.
The best way I heard it described in the videos and everything that I was watching for the movie was he's a guy who's petrified of commitment. So he just kind of lives his life not committing to doing anything, whether it's a job or a relationship or anything at all. He just is terrified of commitment.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, and the crazy, and then he's, gosh, man, just like his ability to be so lovable.
Right.
And even when he's being a dick, like he's being a total dick to to Tia, but but at the same time, like she starts it, he just finishes it.
Yeah.
And the things he comes up with are freaking hysterical. Like when he takes her to school the first day.
Yeah.
And
she doesn't want to get out.
Because she starts it at breakfast where he's like,
yeah,
hey, are your brother and sister up? Should I go like wake up? And she's like, they're already up.
Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
The Uncle Buck.
And she's like, I woke them up.
Yeah.
Like being so like condescending and just rude. And just the biatch. Just the total biatch.
Well, and she goes to pour herself coffee, and she's like, "You drink coffee now," and she obviously doesn't because she takes a sip, and she's like, ugh, ugh. But like tries to hide it from him. It's like
she's 15 for sure.
So mature.
And he makes the kids breakfast, and she's like, "I'll make you some cereal when I get back."
Yeah. Well, I realized what he was doing. I was like, "Cause what the hell is he making?" Because he's throwing mustard in it, and he's got like 4 or 5 pans out. He's reheating the Chinese food from the night before that again, Tia is like, mother, this is so delicious. How did you find the time? And just giving her mother the hardest, like, I don't care for you at all.
And at the same time, you kind of get a glimpse at why she's like that. It's more than just the
teenage
move
angst.
And the teenage angst. It's because the mother says to Miles, Macaulay Culkin's character, that's a tough name to say fast.
Yes,
she says, how was hockey today, dear? And he says, hockey's been over for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, so not only like did they move them out here and stuff, but these are total absentee parents. They're just not involved at all.
Kids come home, they're all latchkey kids. Yeah, workaholic. That's a good. And the dad's like, so I guess you don't want a hockey stick for your birthday. And like, the mom's like, dude, you just threw the nail in the coffin. We're both dead, dude. You're proving the 15-year-old right.
Dad was
Shut up.
Dad was sitting there with a nail in his mouth, and he was like, here,
bud.
There we go.
Well, like, they find out like why they're leaving to go back to Indianapolis. She says she has like the worst line you could say. She's like, yeah, you know, I would probably have a heart attack too if all my family got up and moved away from me too.
Yeah.
Just turns and goes to bed on saying that, like, I'm a better person than you. Like, really? Like, you're still saying a horrible thing.
Do you realize how horrible what you just said was?
It's like your grandpa's hanging on.
You know what? I hope your dad dies. Like, wow.
And your gold retriever runs away.
Yeah, and then we play basketball on him.
Or with him.
Yeah, or with him.
No, he's got to die. We'll bury him. Play basketball on him.
Again, Airbud, if you're spending some time with some family, if you want to remember a movie that was sort of good, and then it's
it was good
terrible.
one time, and then you realize that his dad's dead.
Yeah.
Because they say it 50,000 times.
Well, they say it 50,000 times, and they write it in the newspaper that then goes off into gobbledygook nonsense. Okay, so so they get Uncle Buck, and he's coming in. He's trying his best. Honestly, I feel like that's what makes him lovable, is because he shows up, and he shows up to the plate. He's like, it's 7:05 in the morning, and he's reheating Chinese food for these kids' breakfast. And I love Macaulay Culkin's line where he's like, he's cooking our garbage.
Yes.
And he gives him like half a grapefruit.
Yeah, half a grapefruit with fried rice. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing,
then
though.
He says,
he's still doing it.
He put onions in the eggs.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm like, have you ever had an omelet before?
Yeah.
What's going on, bro?
You mean he made it delicious?
And if you think about it, too, he reheats like the fried rice and then puts it in the omelet. Like,
that's amazing.
That's delicious.
Yeah, dude.
Like, and then he gives you half a grapefruit, and like that's breakfast.
That's breakfast.
Yeah. Breakfast. My wife.
What's going on in here?
My wife. Did you hear that story about someone who's like, there's definitely a dude at my work who's autistic, because one day this guy, the foreman came in and was like, hey, Derek's not coming in today because his wife died. And then this guy in the back went, my wife.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, jeez. That's terrible.
Read the room, man.
Oh man, but no, my wife, who's Hispanic woman, and grew
Dude, I might be autistic because you cannot say the words "my wife" without my brain going "my wife."
my wife. We all got what does Theo Von say? We got a lot of bit of the tism.
We got
Touch
a
of
little
the
bit,
tism.
Touch of the tism.
Little touch.
What's your flavor? My flavor is
Sunny D.
So it was like my flavor is Sunny D vodka seltzer is absolutely delicious, and mine is collecting Legos and shiny rocks. Anyways, yeah. So my wife was watching this, and she was like, what is this white family nonsense that they're talking to adults like this?" Like she was like, "That never in my life would I ever think of saying those words to my parents." Like, do you imagine like the beating I would get with like a sandal? Like you said, what? Excuse you?
Gotta watch out for those chancletas in those Spanish families.
Those are my chanclas.
Yes, chanclas. They're gonna. Yeah. So Bucket's there. I think I've said that 3 times now. But he gets them off to school, and I think that's the part you were bringing up.
Yeah. So he drives them to school,
And this starts one of the best running gags in the whole movie because his car's like a piece of crap.
Yes. Yeah.
And
It
when he
just
stops,
smokes
you
out
just
the back.
see him.
Well, how about when he first gets there, right?
Yeah.
He first gets to the house, and the wife is watching out the window intensely. Like,
Yeah.
oh, where is he? Where is he? And he's like, he's fine. He's an adult. He can use directions. He'll be here.
Yeah.
Just go finish packing. I'll look out for Buck. Okay. He's looking out the window, and Buck is walking up to the house and knocking on the door. And he's like, "Oh God, Buck!" He's at the house across the street because he's a total moron, and he's pounding on the neighbor's door, waking him up at 2:30 in the morning.
Bob, come on, Bob! I'm freezing my ass off here. Just yell. And he's like trying to call him, and he's like, "Shh!"
Yeah.
No, he's just like, "What?
He's like, "What?
What?"
What's going on?"
It's like, "Good to see you. It's good to see you, Bob."
And then the other guy comes out and starts yelling.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You kidding me? It's 2:30 in the morning." He's like, "Oh man!" And that's when Bucks like lowers his register and starts talking softer. It's like, "It's a little late now, you dumbass." Like,
"Hey, how are the kids? How's she doing?" He's like,
how's her dad doing?
he's like, "Not well."
Yeah, like, oh God.
Yeah.
But okay, so they takes him to school. The first one he's dropping off is Tia, the older sister. He says, "What time should I be back to pick you up?"
Yeah.
And she says,
I'll get a ride with friends.
yeah.
I always get a ride with friends.
Always get a ride. And he says, "No, part of the deal is I drop you off and pick you up from school. What time should I be here?" And she says, "Oh, I'll get a ride." And she keeps insisting. And he says, "Look, if you want to have a battle of wills, I'm going to win." And she's like, "What? Oh,
Does anybody ever embarrass you like that?
And well, I love how he's thinking, and his eyes are like darting all over the place. Then he says, "Nope."
And then it cuts to Macaulay Culkin, and he's like, "Ah."
And he says,
in the back seat.
"Yeah." He says, "How about I drop you off to school tomorrow in my pajamas, and I walk
My
you to your
robe.
first class."
Walk you. Yes.
And she's like, "Oh," and he goes, 4 o'clock,
okay.
okay?
Well, yeah. 4
She's
o'clock's
like,
fine.
"Yes, 4 o'clock's fine."
And like you were saying, there was the great recurring bit about his car, because his car has this horrible backfire when the engine stops.
And they used
And
gunshot and firecrackers to
Yes.
get that sound.
And he
It's
knows,
perfect.
and he knows how to time it.
Yeah.
Like he's like, bam.
Bam.
And all the kids waiting in the front of the high school just drop. Immediately, like hit the ground.
And the kids in the back seat cover their
Yeah.
ears.
They know it's coming too. It's so good.
And then at 4 o'clock, when he goes back to pick up Tia,
Bug.
She's
Bug,
with Bug.
she's with Bug, the piece
Yes.
of shit.
Yeah.
Let's welcome back to Problems with Bug. Drug.
Bug and Troy. Trug.
Broy.
But the car comes in and pulls up, and she's like, "Oh, cover your ears." And he says, "Why?"
What?
She says,
Cover
"Just
your ears."
cover your ears."
Yeah.
And he doesn't, and she covers her ears, and the car backfires, and he's like, "Oh God!" Oh, so funny.
He walks up. I love it because it's one of the first. It's the first great interactions because he sees Bug and he immediately knows. He knows his character.
He's like, "Oh, screw that guy."
yeah, he's like this asshole right here because she's 15 is what we're rolling with,
Yeah.
and you just realize because he's an upperclassman, you're like, this is so wrong. But anywho. He comes up to he goes, "Hey, you ever heard of a tune-up?" And John Candy, perfectly in the way that John Candy does. He goes, "You ever hear of a ritual killing? Because you'll be one."
If you ever suck on her face like that again in public,
Yeah, you'll be one. He just does that head bobble. That's so good, dude. But his conversations with the kids are great too, because it's John Candy improvising, where he's like, she doesn't like me, does she? And the kids are like, no, she definitely hates your guts. He goes, you think it's the hat?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like this hat.
They get enraged by the sight of it.
Yeah. I'll tell you that on the way to school. And you just know that's John Candy adding his little flavor and spices into it, which I did see, though, for alternative people in it, that the dad, they had thought of using Rick Moranis as the dad. And I was like, that would have been beautiful. Because this guy's good. He's fine. He's all right. But like, what a memorable little interaction they could have had of like, yeah, Rick Moranis and John Candy are brothers.
If they both walked up to each other at the end of the movie and they're like, I'm a keymaster, you're the gatekeeper.
Like, could not be more different. One is small and nerdy, the big and 6'3", like jolly.
What's
John
Candy in Little Shop of Horrors?
Oh, good question.
Feed me, Seymour.
Feed me, Seymour. I don't know where my phone went, but it went away. Need to look that up. It went away. But yeah, so John Candy's little improv lines, which it's definitely him, are just brilliant in this. So he's trying to get his life with them, and that's what I appreciate about it. Yeah. He's a screw up, but he's at least responsible.
The twins have a birthday. He's cooking the pancakes on he's using the snow shovel.
They're not twins. It's just Miles' birthday.
Yeah, it is just
they
Miles'
both have
birthday.
the hat on, so I thought maybe
they're super related.
Don't worry, we'll be back by your birthday, and then they're not back by the birthday.
We're not.
But it's like a little montage of him trying to do stuff around the house, and he has to wash everything in the sink because he can't get the washing machine.
Dude, he's like retarded, dude.
Damn washing machine to work.
Oh, hang on, that's later. But he's cooking he's cooking.
He is in Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But he has an interaction. He asks him something. I for some reason when you said a little interaction between him and Rick Moranis, the whatever he says that's so funny, flashed for a second into my head.
Brain blast.
Because you gotta look at it.
Brain blast.
Yeah, because you gotta look at that because they were on that improv comedy show in Canada together.
SEC TV.
Yes, with Eugene Levy and Rick Moranis and John Candy. Mm-hmm. Catherine O'Hara was on there too. And so then they all went off to Hollywood and started making these great movies with John Hughes and folks. And you do wonder when and where did their paths cross? Because there were times where Rick Moranis would call him and be like, John would be perfect for this.
Yeah.
Or John would call and be like, you need to call Catherine O'Hara. She would be.
Or when
excellent.
John Candy backs out of Ghostbusters and gives us one of Rick Moranis' greatest characters of all time.
Yeah, I'm the keymaster, you gatekeeper.
I got vitamins. I got lots of vitamin mineral water. It's really good. Somebody let me in. So good.
Hey, did we? No. Okay.
No. Okay. Anyways, all right. So yeah, it's a couple. He's been there a couple of days though.
Yeah,
he's
making the pancakes, and the little kids run in, and they're these giant, freaking table-sized pancakes, and he has the little red nose on. He's like, "You should have seen the toast. Couldn't even get through the door."
Yes. He pops the popper pew.
Dude, and these pancakes, you have to go watch them. You have to go look at them because they are.
He makes them with a snow
massive.
shovel.
Yes.
Yes.
The biggest snow shovel I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, what a cool little experience though. That to me is all right, he's a screw up. But dude, does he know how to make an impression?
Well,
what a memory for a little kid.
He's getting the thing under, and he's like, "This is how you separate the men from the boys."
And they have a huge flat top in their house.
Yeah.
They do. It's like Iron Chef. It's the thing you would see at Samurai or a Canton Grill
it's
or something like
humongous.
that. Yeah,
but their kitchen is retardedly large.
Yeah.
it is pretty big. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the things that endear him to the younger kids. And there's so much that I found out that they took out of this movie in doing my research that I was kind of bummed about. But you see when it's an hour and 40 minutes. But dude, take the movie to 2 hours. Make a 2-hour film. Who cares? It was funny as hell.
That's crazy to me because this is a perfect movie in my mind.
I mean, there's stuff that I read that it would have been awesome. So you know how when he goes to Miles goes to school, and it's like the first day that he's there, and he opens up. Bubba's knocking, but he can't come in. He opens up his lunch. Can I
interest anybody in a lunch trade?
Yeah, and everybody like runs off from him. Well, so like the idea in the original script, I found a YouTube video that was super informative about this, where this guy breaks down like from the original script, like stuff and different things that they shot but didn't use. It's the lost version, is what it's called, I believe. But he's talking about how every day it's supposed to do these things where like Miles goes to school every day and he has different lunches, but like the lunches improve over time. Like where he's got like a half rack of barbecued ribs, and he's like, and like everybody gathers around
they
Miles.
Want to trade with him?
Well, just to see
what
weird crap he got in his lunch that day.
Because the first day or the day that you see in the movie, he gets like a mason jar of milk and like
pizza,
a pickled egg.
Yes, and then some other like.
And he gets like a
raw piece of fish.
He gets a can of sardines.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always like weird stuff like that, but it's like good. Supposedly it's good stuff the whole way around. It's just really weird to have in a school lunch.
Yeah.
And then when they have the party and the clown comes, which we haven't talked about yet, and I won't touch on quite yet.
But that's the same morning that we just talked about.
Right.
Yeah. So
they have the party, but all these kids come to his party, and you see a couple of them in the actual movie where John Candy's like, "Oh, the clown's here," and they're like, clown." And he's
my
like,
mom ordered the clown.
You don't like clowns? And he's like, last year,
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, clowns suck basically. But
and Macaulay Culkin's sitting on the chair like.
So supposedly later on, there's a deleted scene where him and Macaulay Culkin are talking, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry about the clown or whatever." And he goes, "No, it's fine. Like, you've been great." And he's like, "What do you mean? Like, I ruined your birthday party?" Because in the movie, he punches the clown in the face.
He knocks him fuck out. Yeah.
And that clown is the guy from Dumb and Dumber.
Get in your mouse.
Drive away. But your mouse. He's the guy in Dumb and Dumber that they give the rat poison to.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Okay.
He gained weight.
Isn't that weird, right?
That's super weird.
Yeah, he's like a character actor who always plays like a thug, like a gangster, whatever. Like
he plays $40.
He does pay $40. Yes, exactly. He pays $40 for pizza. But so
we got to talk more about that clown. But keep going.
They're sitting together, and he's saying that, and then he goes, "No, like I basically had no friends." Because they set it up at the beginning of the movie. He's getting bullied on his way home. He's running home from
hit him with
running
a
through
shoe.
Got beat by a shoe.
Yeah,
and he says like every day at lunch, my class would gather around me to find out what you got me for lunch, and then that's why everybody came to my birthday party because they wanted to meet Uncle Buck and it was just these little moments that I get it, cutting it for time. And you didn't need it in the end.
Yeah.
But it would have been awesome to see because the whole movie is him and Tia basically. It's his, and the kids kind of latch onto him pretty quick. After the breakfast thing where he's using our garbage, both the little girl and Macaulay Culkin, Miles and Maisie both kind of come around pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I do love when at the beginning when he's like, he's talking to Maisie and she's laying in the bed.
Sitting on the bed,
he's like, and it just cuts to him and he's like,
"No,
you don't want to do that.
It's off the table."
And she's like, "Mm-hmm," and he's like, "No," and you're right. That little girl is so cute, man.
Your brother,
adorable.
He's like, "Look, you just don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
You know the dog.
Yeah, you know the dog. The dog knows you. You could the dog.
It's like I snore. You don't want to."
And then finally, he's like, "I snore. You don't want to sleep with me."
And not only do I snore, I drool.
Yeah, you might wake up and be like, "I'm sleeping in a swamp."
But
we forgot to mention probably my favorite Macaulay Culkin part of the entire movie.
Yes,
they're
the
sitting at the
one-on-one.
breakfast table, and he's like, "What do you do for work?" He's like, "Lots of things." "Where do you live?" "House or apartment?" "Apartment." "Do you have a girlfriend?" "It's complicated." "Do you have any kids?" "It's an even longer story."
Yeah.
Are you my dad's brother? What's your record for consecutive questions asked in a row? 38.
38.
I'm your dad's brother, all right.
Yeah.
So, behind the scenes on that, I've heard two different ones. One is that John Candy stuck the lines to his head so that Macaulay Culkin could read them off because he was having trouble like reading them off really fast.
Oh my gosh! And the shit you hear. Have you ever heard of the stuff Macaulay Culkin, his dad, would give him about being off script?
No.
Oh my god! So when Macaulay Culkin did Home Alone, and then did Home Alone 2, he did SNL, and his dad apparently was such an asshole. Would be like, I better not see you reading your lines off those cards. You are going to be completely off book. And so, God, dude, for John, like, and that's what I hear for a lot of these kid actors from 80s, 90s, like Christina Ricci, like doing acting and stuff like that. She fell in love with the people that she acted with because they created that like safe environment. I can't imagine like John Candy being like, hey, your dad's kind of a dick, and like I'm gonna be good to, I'm gonna be like a father figure to you, and like having someone like a kid like Macaulay Culkin
he's like Macaulay Culkin as a kid was so incredibly smart and
so brilliant,
like so good. Like that scene that Trey's talking about is, if you go and watch it, it's like one of the best moments in the entire film.
It's so good,
and to the point where they then use it again in The Big Bang Theory, where Sheldon is going back and forth with Penny.
Yeah.
And it made me think of it when I was watching. Well, I've also been watching The Big Bang Theory a ton, obviously, because I brought it up on like 15 episodes.
That's all right.
But he's like, but I want to work with him. And she's like, well, then work with him. And he's like, but I don't like the and she's like, well, then don't. And then she goes, how many times are we going to do this, Sheldon? And he goes, my record is 14 or something like that. And it's like, oh man, that's where they got that from. That's a call to Uncle Buck and an homage to Uncle Buck. That's really funny.
But there's like several cases where people are like, yeah, the people who have worked with Macaulay Culkin, especially when she was young, where they were like, when he was young, not she, when he was young, and they were like, yeah, we had to like ask his dad to leave. Like he wasn't allowed to like be on set because he'd be like in the middle of a take and like Macaulay would like start getting like, nervous or forget the line or something like that, and he would just be yelling from off screen like, it's this line or something like that, and be like, dude, you need to leave.
It explains a lot.
So then like John Candy having the lines on his forehead was like to take care of him, like was to save him in that way. Yeah.
The thing that people that say he put him on his forehead, like they don't understand how movies are shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like John Candy was standing next to the camera with cards with the lines written on the cards, so he could read the cards, and making him feel safe about that. And like they don't shoot it like as fast as they read
There's something called camera A,
exactly,
and camera B,
exactly. And like I before I did this show, I never appreciated all that technical aspect of these shows, where like, yeah, if we're having a conversation and the camera is cutting back and forth, like you're doing your part of the conversation, I'm not even here.
Yeah, no.
I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit.
Well, and one of the things that blew my mind was when, I don't know, when we were doing one of these movies with James Earl Jones, or I brought up the fact that his cameo is like, his cameo on Big Bang Theory is my favorite cameo of any cameo.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind to learn that Carrie Fisher and James Earl Jones had not met before they did The Big Bang Theory together.
Yeah, because there's no need for that.
And it's like,
well, because James Earl Jones was never in Star Wars.
Yes, exactly.
He's just his voices. Right. But it's like, wait a minute, what? Like that was mind blowing to me, because I'm like, they've been connected.
Did like 9 of those movies.
Yeah, they've been connected at the hip since they were like young.
Yeah.
And never met
since the 70s, and to think they never met till the mid 2000s.
Yeah, and I think you were out of the room, but when we were talking about this, but it makes me really sad. They're putting out 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they're bringing in the guy who did something, and Kathleen Kennedy is writing it with them.
Sick,
so put
dude.
a chick in it and make it gay.
Thank you, South Park, for giving us some kind of reference.
I mean, I don't know how people these
world.
days. I've seen a meme, but it's 1,000% true. I don't know how people these days are so sensitive when we grew up on Family Guy and South Park.
That's very true. We grew up in streetlights come on, you come home, and like everyone believed that.
Well, we did.
Yes, but everyone believed that the kid from the Wonder Years turned out to be Marilyn Manson when he grew up. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and
Fred
Marilyn
Savage?
Manson.
No, not Fred Savage.
the other guy.
A friend of
The
Fred
friend,
Savage,
yeah.
a nerdy friend of
I was
Fred
like, who
Savage.
the? Who
are
And they
you
also
talking to?
we
Oh,
also
Bertram
believed
from Sandlot.
Bertram.
I think it's
is he
Bertram. Yeah,
If
it might be.
if it's not, he looks like super similar.
Yeah, that's close.
But I think that he would be too old.
Bertram got really into the '60s,
and then
nobody
too
ever
old.
saw him again.
He's too old.
Yeah, I think he's too old.
Yeah,
for that,
because the guy that was in the Wonder Years, he would have been way too old to be Bertram by the time that came out. But they do look like they could be like cousins or brothers.
Yeah.
That's my favorite line of the Sandlot. Bertram got really into the '60s. Nobody ever
And it
saw
just
him
like
again.
fades away.
Yeah, he just turns
It's
into
at the
ghost
end
baseball.
when they're all turning into
Yeah.
ghosts. Yeah.
He just went to that field of dreams, and helped children.
All right, we
and
gotta
knock
get back
children
on
out.
track here.
Feel the answers.
Field.
So,
So back to Uncle Buck. So the part I wanted to say about the clown, which I thought was so funny, was
Yeah.
I loved his line in that because he's like, "Yeah, I just came from an all
All
night bachelorette party," and he's like, "If you need a dildo joke, he's like, I'm your guy." And
Yeah.
he does that, but he's like, then Uncle Buck's like, "Listen, but are you drunk? Did you?" And he's like,
You have a
"What are
few
you?"
drinks with breakfast this morning?
Yeah, he's like, "What are you, like my mother? Like you're a saint. You never touch this stuff." And he's like, "No. I'm just saying if you're gonna be entertaining kids, I would expect you to be sober." And the guy's like, he does this great just build up to the line, and it's such a it's overlooked in my opinion because it's so funny how he's like, in the in-home entertainment business, I'm a god.
and that's when you get.
That's it. It's like, he's like, take your nose and get in your mouse car and drive away. Then he punches him, and you get the great thing where like the clown's on some kind of like suspension.
Yeah.
He gets hit in the nose, and he bounces right back up, and he goes.
He completely disappears out of frame. And I love how when he comes back, if you pause the movie right there, you kind of notice it at first, but I watch it obviously so many times.
Nose is
Right, right.
No,
Yeah.
but he comes up, his nose is crushed in, his bald cap is like off, so his hair is showing on the side.
Yeah.
It's like the little things that they did with his character.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, and John Candy just punches him again. Doesn't even wait. Like, okay, you're back. Bam, and then it hard cuts to the next scene.
That big old quarter pounder with cheese.
Oh
and
my
a
God.
Fist from
Is
John
that-
Candy.
That's a
dude.
Royale with cheese
Is,
right there.
is the next scene him going to the school?
Yeah,
That is the best part of the whole movie.
It's one of the best rants you get of John Candy.
Dude,
But where he parks,
He parks right next to the door.
Yes, he
pulls up
pulls
on
up
the sidewalk.
on the sidewalk, and the suspension in this car, like they were like, make it looser. Make it looser.
Yeah.
No, you're not understanding me. Make it so that if a feather or a pigeon landed on this thing,
goes,
it's bouncing for an hour. Like the way this car is just becomes a part of his character, because I feel like it's a representation of him, of his life. Like it's moving, it gets the job done, but it's kind of a piece of shit. Like and it's not being taken care of well, and it backfires.
You ever heard of a tune up?
Yeah. You ever heard of a ritual killer? Because you'll be one. So you were saying he pulls up
And
right
he's
next to the front door.
He's smoking a cigarette or
Cigar.
a cigar.
Cigar, yeah.
dude,
Like a
that
skinny
when he
cigar.
tells his sister-in-law at the beginning, he's like, "I quit smoking cigarettes," and she's like, "Oh yeah,
good,
that's
yeah,
good,
that's
okay." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm on this like 5-year plan. I quit smoking cigarettes. I moved on to cigars. Then I'm gonna go to a pipe after so long. Then I'm gonna do the Nicorette gum,
Chewing
then,
tobacco. And
chewing
then the nigger-
chewing tobacco, then the Nicorette gum." And it's like, wait, whatever you got to do, man.
Yeah,
Like whatever.
He's got 20 years. He got a 20-year plan there. And like, honestly, cigars are probably doing him better than cigarettes. Yeah.
I guess it was a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
What was it? Don't die.
So he goes to the school and he realizes he's smoking in the middle of an elementary school.
Yeah.
So he walks to the bathroom. He's like,
Blows it out.
and he
yeah.
looks, and he's got a pee. So he looks in the stall, and all you see are little feet.
Just dangling.
Dude, one of the funniest parts of the movie, like from beginning to end, when he shows up at Maisie's school.
Yeah.
But he uses the urinal,
on a
which
knee.
is like for little tiny for elementary school kids, which
Yeah.
I never understood. Like, just put in like what we had at the elementary school that we went to was like urinals that went to the floor.
Oh yes.
So
yeah.
yeah. So
At
like,
church we had those.
The height wasn't a nest.
At church we had those.
exactly.
Yeah,
so it's
you're
like
right.
you could be tall or you could be short, and you
Yeah.
could do. But these are like little tiny urinals, and they're way down there.
Yeah.
Not like when you go in and they have like the urinal for kids or little people.
Yeah.
This is like this is only for kids, so they're
Or
way
like-
down there.
Or like really biologically blessed people.
You mean black?
I mean, you just roll the pant leg a little
Exactly.
bit and you're
You
in
pull up
there.
your
You're
jean,
fine,
and
yeah.
you put your leg out. But yeah, so he gets down on one knee and he has to pee.
Yeah.
But
so funny, dude.
so he walks in and he's sitting in the waiting room with this other little kid, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Good."
Yeah.
And then the assistant principal calls next, and he goes, "Why don't I go in first? Buy you a little more time."
Give it a little more time.
And
yeah.
he's
Kid's
like, "Okay."
Right.
So then he goes in, and you get the most fantastic scene.
You get the inspiration for the hubba. Nice to mole you. Nice to meet your mole.
meet you. Don't
Nice-
say mole.
Nice to
Mark.
meet you. Buck melanoma.
Yeah. I'm their Wart. Just Uncle Wart, Uncle Warty. Yeah, that's me. Because this woman has a massive.
his wart.
Yeah, I'm his Wart. He's like Uncle Buck.
His
Uncle
wart.
Yeah.
That's what the melanoma head. Old melanoma.
Old melanoma.
No, I misgrowth.
Yes. Because this woman has this massive mole on her chin. Where it's like, dude, if you went that far in life with that thing growing out of your face, like someone could have taken it off.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah. So she goes on this rant that she's like, you're
She's a
6-year-old. Yes,
What'd you say?
She's a dreamer.
a silly heart.
Yes. Well, this assistant principal is one of the most vile people
I agree.
you could ever put in a movie. Like,
Yeah.
Maisie is the cutest little kid, and she's 6 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is she in first grade?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, first grade at best. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Maybe kindergarten if
Maybe
she's young enough.
kindergarten, Yeah.
And in the middle of it, it cuts to Maisie in class. And she has the weirdest looking teacher in
Yeah,
the whole
he's
world
like,
with like his
Did
his
anything
hair,
interesting
like,
happen?
parted down the middle and plastered
Yeah, what's
to
that
his
kid
head.
from the Little Rascals?
Alfalfa.
He's got the alfalfa
Without
dude.
without the
Oh, yeah,
alfalfa.
with the doing.
Without the boner.
God
Yeah.
help us.
He's the alfalfa without the excitement.
So he's like, did anything interesting happen to anybody this weekend?
Yeah.
Maisie. Oh, my uncle was microwaving my socks, and my dog threw up on the couch
That's
for
for like
about
an hour.
And then he's like, honest? And she's like, honest.
Honest.
Why
Why-
was why was he microwaving your socks?
Because he couldn't get the goddamn washing machine to work.
Yeah, like freaks out. He reminded me of the FBI agent from The Frighteners.
Yeah.
When he
yes.
Because he
Blasphemer.
grabs like the yardstick
Yeah.
and
Yes.
like points at her with
Yeah.
it.
This man has no nipples.
This man has no dick.
yes, it's true.
Yeah, but she's hilarious though.
Yeah.
She's like she knew it was funny. Like the little actress, she knew it was funny. She's like, because he couldn't get the goddamn washing
Yeah,
machine.
she's
to
like
work."
trying not to laugh because she got to say goddamn.
She can't say goddamn washing.
But
Like Kevin Hart. with the-
Yeah.
it cuts back over to the assistant principal basically saying like your niece doesn't take her education career and education seriously. She's a dreamer, she's a whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get the true Buck. And it's like this moment made me so happy that somebody just ripped into this woman and just says like she's 6 years old. But the lady even says like because he tries to be like she's 6.
That's not an
Yeah,
excuse.
she's like I hear that excuse every day.
every day I dismiss it. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, really? How about this? and just rips into her ass and basically tells her, like, if I hear of you messing with my niece or any other kid in this school, I'll be back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what it reminded me of? When I went to school.
Yeah. So I had this. Elementary school was a weird time.
Go on.
So I was in patrols in elementary school, and my mom showed up one day, and this teacher had sent other students, like she was a mob boss, to like bring me to her, and I was like,
what?
yeah. She was like, go get me Trey, and like she sent like goons after me, and so they come up and like. They were gonna, instead of being like, hey, like she wants to see you, they were literally like, they were the Gestapo gonna like basically tie my hands behind my back and take me
What?
to her. Well, what they didn't realize is I'm more athletic than them. So my mom pulled up to school and it's pissing rain outside, and I'm basically like a running back breaking away down the sideline, juking these kids out in the field because I'm like, you're not gonna touch me, like get away from me.
Yeah.
So I come home and like I'm covered in like mud, and my mom had already said something to the teacher, and Tyler's like, who the fuck did that to you? And I was like, oh, it's this kid. And he's like, what happened? And I told him, and he's like, I'm gonna pick you up from school tomorrow. And I was like,
Well,
okay.
my mom came to me and she was like, your brother is kind of having problems with a bully. I was like,
the problem is it was like half my grade.
well, I'm like,
So even my friends are like, bro, there's nothing we could do against like half the grade. I don't even know what I did.
so basically there was a popular kid
Yeah, he didn't like
who
me.
decided he didn't like Trey.
Okay.
And he started messing with Trey, and then all of his friends are going to pile on. Well, all my mom said to me, I'm in middle school probably at this point,
Right.
was,
I think you were a freshman in high school. Because I was in 5th grade.
maybe, probably.
Yeah.
But she said, your brother is having problems with a bully. And I said, name.
Chris Kringle.
Yeah.
Joyu Noel. And I'm like, okay, where can I find him? And she was like, all right, come with me when I go to pick him up, and I'll point him out. Okay. So we drive up, and they were safety patrols. So they
Yeah.
had like the thing on.
Yeah.
And she goes, that's him, and this is his name. So I go over to the kid. I'm like, hey, are you this kid? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I hear you're bullying my brother. And he's like, who's your brother? And I said, Trey. And he was like, oh. And I said, just stop talking. And he was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, if you bully my brother again, I'll be back. This is your warning. And he goes, oh, you think you're going to scare me? And I said, no, I know I'm going to scare you. And if you bully my brother again, I'll be back. And he was like, oh, my parents are lawyers, which is very appropriate for this movie. But he's like, my parents are lawyers, and they'll sue you. And I said, little boy, I'm a minor,
Yeah.
and I'll be back.
There's no suing here.
And he was like, what? And I said, ask your parents what that means. And he was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, see ya. And then he goes, are you threatening me as I'm walking away? And I turned around and I said, that's not a threat. That's a promise.
That's a promise.
And he was like, okay. And then I don't know what happened after that, but that kid probably shit his pants that day.
He stopped messing with me, and then by the time we got to high school, I was way bigger than him.
Yeah.
And he
usually how it works.
He came up to me in the hallway one day, and he was like, hey, man. I was like, hey.
He's one of those kids that probably lives with his parents till he's like 35 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hey, man, how's it going? He's like, hey, man, remember like elementary school and like you brought your brother to school? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I probably don't need to do that anymore.
Or how about, hey, remember when you were in elementary school and like your brother heard what was happening, so came to fucking whoop my ass? And the funniest part was like behind the scenes, it was like, Mom, like, you really want me to go like bully this little kid? And she was like, yep.
Well, my mom asked me, she was like, is it just one of them? And I'm like, no, that's the thing. There's like 7 of them. So like, if it was one-on-one, I'd be like, let's do this. Like,
Well, that's how
I got older
bullying
brothers.
works.
It's not going to
That's
hurt
how
that
it-
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how bullying works. Like, you never get picked on by one.
Yeah.
By the way, here's a quarter. Go downtown, have a rat gnaw that thing off your face.
Dude, the way go YouTube this scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't watch the whole movie, which you should, because this movie's so fun.
But then my favorite part of that whole thing is when he's walking out and he gets halfway down the hallway and he lights another
Yeah.
and it's like, ow, boom, 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 and he gets to the end and he's like,
and then he goes out the door and he turns and it's like the
Goes the
silhouette
wrong way.
and it's just like the big puff of smoke.
Yes.
And then he like goes off screen and then he comes back the other way.
He went the wrong way.
Like the little jokes that John Hughes would throw in there that were so funny.
So
man.
good, dude. Yeah, that whole story, man, reminded me of this random ass time. I was like, I switched schools in 5th grade, so between elementary and middle school, and I'll keep it short. But we went on this trip to Washington, the Washington trip. Anyways, we're up there. We're with this group of kids, and I find out that this is one popular kid. He's nice enough, but his dad comes along. And I didn't hear the full conversation on the bus, but like his dad came along, and they were going through a nasty divorce. And she was like trying to get custody like away from him completely because apparently like in his problem he drinks. Like he had
My
classic signs
was a drinker.
of a drinker. But we're leaving this place and we're just messing around, just horsing around, like in the way that, what 5th grade boys do. A little push in, little, but we're all laughing. Everyone's having a fun time about it. I pushed his kid and he already pushed me. He did it several times, but like we were laughing and I hit bumped him like just with my hip and he went 2 feet and still walking. I didn't knock him down. The guy grabbed me in the back of the shirt and pulled me around. It was like, if I ever see you hit my kid again, we're going to have real problems. And mind you, he's the chaperone.
Yeah.
So we're staying in the same hotel room. I told the other counselor because she saw hey, why did he grab you like that? And I told her, I was like, I don't know, but was that okay? And me in 5th grade, I was such a dork. I was like, was that an appropriate reaction? I said appropriate reaction. And she was like, no, that's not. You're not staying in his room tonight. It's safe to say he was never allowed to be a chaperone or anything again. So it's still one of the weirdest. It's like one of those weird things where you're just like, my stomach turns a little bit to be like, that guy had problems. And we let him be with kids.
Let's not go down that road.
Distance. Anyways, we're not doing that.
Let's not go down. That is way darker than that.
Yeah, sorry, way darker than your situation.
It's like
that's way darker than Nostalgialand After Dark.
It's like Dante's Inferno dark.
Yes, that's Nostalgialand After Hell.
It's 7th layer.
Nostalgialand in the floor.
Yeah. I don't think that show will ever come out.
Someone's playing basketball.
Now we get that the older daughter finds out about his girlfriend. And basically frames him that he was out with the neighbor across the street.
Yeah, there's that weird moment in the bowling alley with Pal.
Yeah.
Pal being a real
and
pal.
And he's trying to twirl the toothpick and
he's
stuck and he's like
in his lip. But he's he obviously, so if she's 15, this is where it gets so wrong. He's like
30.
Hey, I got a great brand new
Bronco
out in the parking lot. You want to come see it?
How do you feel about all-terrain vehicle?
Oh, God, dude. Yeah. What? But again, it's so she's
Bronco's
I know
not
everything.
an ATV, by the way.
That's not a thing. Yeah. But her character of this is I'm 15. I know everything.
Well,
no one should tell me shit.
But she was my voice.
Yeah.
Even she didn't know how to handle Pal.
Yeah. Right. And I think that's kind of the part of it became Uncle Buck saves Tia. That's what the whole movie is. Uncle Buck saves Tia, but she's still giving him shit and hating him because he
offers her a cigar.
Yeah, yeah. She's
like part of his.
Let me
you
know
want to smoke this cigar?
Let me know if you want one. I'll get it nice and ready for you.
He's like, I'll get it nice and wet for you,
juicy. But she then says oh yeah, she tells him this lie that apparently she's going to go to dinner at the cheerleader's house, the head cheerleader's house or something, and
that's where she gets the insight.
His friend comes to tell him about the fixed race, and he's like, "Where's Shirley?" And he's like,
"What is her name?"
Shanice.
And she's like, "Who's Shanice?" And he's like, "Come over here, you loudmouth!"
Because he doesn't want them having her, especially having insight into his personal life.
Yeah, right. How
so,
he makes money.
He's out. No, he's at the house.
Yeah,
and she calls, and she's like, "Oh no, he's out with the neighbor across the street." They usually stay out pretty late.
Real late.
Yeah. And so she gets pissed off. And then that's the next night is when she goes to the head cheerleaders party or the head cheerleaders party.
Right. And so he's
quote unquote.
Yeah.
For those not watching on YouTube, which you should, and comment, please like and subscribe.
Yeah, and they
ring
go
that
like
notification bell.
And they all look like French hippies because they all wear berets and they look retarded.
The tiny little fedora.
Dude, every single person, every single
they're
person.
All douchebags.
That is her friend.
Is a douche.
Looks like a dumbass.
They look like a mime. They look like a mime without face paint on.
You know what's funny
asshole.
though? If you go back and you look,
we all kind of look like
every single one of us.
We're all assholes.
We talked about we had the Jenko jeans. We had the this. We had the that. You have the mullets today. You have the banana haircuts with the fucking you put a bowl on your head and then you flip it out from the bottom so it looks like you got bananas on your head.
You got people judging how long your socks come up your ankles, dude. I'm just
those people can suck my wiener.
But that's when you have the great scene.
I'm wearing my ankle socks until the end of damn time.
But that's when you have the great scene with Bud and the hatchet. He's
Dude.
like, you ever heard of burying the hatchet? He's like,
Yeah.
you know what a hatchet is, don't you, Bug? He's like, it's like an axe. Sort of. I like to have one with me, you know, in case I need it.
Yeah.
I'll go get it.
You want to see it?
He goes to the truck
I like to
and he's
keep
like,
it sharp enough to shave with.
here it is.
Sometimes you could circumcise a gnat.
Bug,
Wait a minute.
Gnat? Is there a connection here?
Yeah.
I think so.
And then he goes to the car and he's like, look, here it is.
And he's holding up the hatchet.
Come over here. I want to show it to you. And he goes, maybe later. Okay. Throws it back in the trunk.
And it's so funny how he does it too, how they wrote it in there where he's like, no, we just wanted to come and see if you wanted to get ice cream with us.
Who said anything about, just want to see if you want to join? Because even the kids in the car were like, what cheerleader lives in the middle of the woods? Like, the kids are on it too. They're like, this is weird, dude. And it's just funny how like Uncle Buck just knows, like, yeah, this is where the hangout happens. This is like,
Well, and he tells her from the very beginning, as soon as he meets Bug, like, basically what I'm telling you is, that's me.
Yeah.
Stop fucking around because he's going to use you and take advantage of you and sleep around on you, or he's going to, take your virginity and use you and make you feel like garbage until he wants you and then throw you away.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, he would never, because, at 15, you know everything.
Yeah.
At every age, you know everything.
At 89,
Let me
it's
not.
15. Yeah, that's true.
Let me not
It's
take
true.
it that far.
Yeah.
I still think I know everything, and then I'm like, oh wait, damn it.
How big are albatrosses? Have you guys
Exactly.
seen a goddamn big albatross?
Did you know that Danny DeVito traveled the world being carried by an
they can
albatross?
carry them for a year? It's ridiculous.
So then after that, he goes home.
They all go home. And then
He takes Tia with him.
Yeah,
she
and
goes
then-
with them. Yeah,
and then
She's super pissed at him.
Shanice comes over the next day to like confront Buck
Because
and the crazy,
Shanice had called and
Right.
Tia lied to him
Yeah,
and told her that
and
she
the-
was out with the neighbor who we never covered.
yeah,
And is one of my favorite character actors, like side kind of fill-in actors.
God, what's her name again?
I don't know, but she's
from Roseanne.
Sheldon's mother
She's Sheldon's mom.
on The Big Bang Theory. She's Roseanne's sister on Roseanne. She is
Marcy.
Marcy on the movie.
Marcy is in the movie.
What's her name though?
Laura Metcalf.
Yeah.
She
Laura
is
Metcalf.
awesome. I love her,
Laurie
dude.
Metcalf.
She's such a good actress. I can't say enough good things about her.
That's right. She is on Roseanne.
Yeah,
that's the one. They're playing that scene where she's like trying to call, and like she's trying to call her aunt, who's hard of hearing, on the phone. She's like, "Dad's dead. No, dead. He's dead. No. He's like, he sends his love. Bye." She's like, "Don't you ever make me do that again. You can't make me."
I mean, she is so funny. And then
So
every time
good.
she appears as Sheldon's mother in The Big Bang Theory, it's awesome.
Oh,
It's
really?
so funny.
That's her latest cameo.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
Sheldon's mother. That's brilliant, dude. Okay.
And like she's like a devout Christian from East Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I call no meemaws.
when Sheldon's like gonna get married later on in the series, she's like, "Oh man," and he goes, "Mom, we're not getting married in a church." And she goes, "That's okay. Wherever I am, Jesus will be there." And he goes, "Okay, but that's your +1. You can't bring anybody else." So funny, but she is so funny in this movie. And there's a deleted scene where she runs into him in the supermarket, and
Yeah.
I so wish they had left it in because she's so funny.
I feel like I've seen that scene. Yeah. Okay. So
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
But
so in the
she's
supermarket.
talking about like she's saying to Buck, "I don't understand why I'm just so attracted to you.
Yeah.
I don't control just the sexuality." And it's just like what? Like
Yeah, so she
so
comes
what?
over and convinces him to like dance in
Yeah.
the apartment.
Yeah.
And then Shanice walks in and sees them dancing and gets all pissed
Yeah, the
off.
timing is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so,
But we didn't talk about too when you first meet Shanice.
Oh,
or no,
yeah.
you first meet Marcy,
because
the neighbor.
she comes in, she just comes into the house
Yeah,
unannounced.
and
he's hitting the
he's
washing
trying to
machine.
get the washing machine to open, and he's like, "Do you want me to get the pry bar?" Like
I'm gonna stick my load in there whether you want it or not.
and saying all
yes.
this like sexual innuendo stuff, but when you realize he's talking to the washing machine, makes total sense.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And she's
Yeah,
like
kinda.
super. She screams because she steps on the dog.
No, the dog comes up and
pokes
gooses her. Yeah.
with its nose.
Gives
yeah.
a little,
As
hey, how you
dogs
doing?
do.
As,
Yeah, you know,
like you do. Like
if you're
you do.
bending over, a dog's going to come up and goose you. If
I mean,
you wait long enough.
Bubba will definitely.
Definitely. Absolutely.
He just likes to get it in there.
He'll
Say hello.
goose you whether you want it or not.
Yeah. He'll give you a little, hey, how are you? You're like,
Call him a
you?
gooser. That's right. Yeah,
He's a good boy.
She's brilliant. But yeah, so they play up that Marcy and Buck have. He doesn't want to have anything to do with her, but she just seems to be in the wrong place.
No, I think that in the movie, if you like, my opinion, but you're watching the movie, like he really does love Shanice,
Yeah.
but he, like we said, part of one of his character traits is that he's petrified of commitment.
That and he like doesn't want to be rude to the neighbor because he's trying to like get in the good graces with his brother. And
Well, not only that, but he
good
just
point.
doesn't want to be rude to this lady because she's nice, and he just doesn't want to be rude. He like, I get it, you're a shy guy. You're like, he's kind of like whatever. Like,
yeah, but
okay,
it's funny because she like gets mad and he's like, "Don't walk out that driveway, or no, don't walk out the door. Don't get in your car like that. You're screwing up the driveway."
yeah. She's peeling out Shanice.
And then so,
I love you.
Yeah, she's like, well, now give us more time for us. And he's like, you should go home. And she's like, fine, I'll go home and wait for the Federal Express man.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Oh wait, we didn't say at the very beginning when he's trying to explain to Shanice like why he's not going to be at work in the morning, and she picks up the phone. She immediately knows like something's up because she's like, "Let me guess, you're
Yeah.
not coming to work." And he's like, "Well, let me explain." And then he keeps getting cut off. And he's like,
Classic John Candy.
"Oh, come on!"
Yeah.
And it's like it's so upsetting. It's so funny, dude.
It
one of
is.
the
It's
best
so
ones.
funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she leaves, gets all upset, and then he goes.
He wants to go to the track to go to his fixed race.
He's got
Yeah,
He's got Tia that promised to watch the kids
on Friday night.
while he goes to the track.
Yeah.
And when he comes, I don't know where he goes, but he comes home. Maybe it's a supermarket.
Might have been
or
the
something
supermarket
like that,
scene, yeah.
that was cut.
It made
But
sense.
he comes home and she's gone, and she tells Miles and Maisie,
I'll
"Tell
see-
him I'll be back on Sunday."
See you Sunday. You know what that means? Slumber party.
Yeah. She's like, he's like, "Where's your sister?" Oh, she went to a party. She went to a party at a cheerleader's house. No, that's the
No, just that she went to a
camping.
party and she's
Yeah.
not gonna be back till Sunday.
And she's like, "Wait, she was supposed to watch you tonight." She says she's not going to be back till Sunday. Must have been a slumber party.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then he's like thinking about it, and he's debating it, and
gets
then
him
he
in the
decides, okay, we're going to go to the track. I don't care what your parents say. This is my money for the year. It may be peanuts to your dad who makes all this money, but it's my year. If I
Yeah.
don't go to this night, I'll lose all the money for my year, basically. And he gets him in the back seat. And then
You know why people go to the track? It's the interesting people.
Yeah.
And the horses.
Beautiful
And
horses.
we're gonna make some sweet coin too.
we're
huh?
gonna make we're gonna make that coin too. And he's like, no, they go for the coins, and I mean the
beautiful horses.
the horses and the colorful jockeys. And
That's all
then-
he's got. Yeah, just keep saying.
And then I love the
Is the
heart.
come to
Yes.
Jesus moment.
Well, the
Yes.
heart that comes in, because it's not just I don't want to take these kids
yeah.
to the track,
It's not that it's inappropriate for them to be there.
right? Like, because
Yeah.
you can take kids to a track.
That's fine.
Like, as horrible as it sounds, like it is horse racing. You can take a kid to a horse race.
Yeah.
Like look at the damn Kentucky Derby. It's just a fancy horse
These
race.
hats.
Yeah, exactly. Like put a stupid hat on her and you can go to the horse
Oh, he
race.
told me about these mint juleps. around here.
Yeah, Mitchell. But what it really is about is Tia. And
Yes.
he knows like she's at a party till Sunday with
Bug.
Bug, who should have been circumcised like a gnat by my hatchet. So then he calls Shanice. Yes, got it.
Yes.
Gosh, I've
Perfect.
been having a hard time remembering her name for some reason. I can picture her face like so clearly,
Yeah.
but I can't remember her
Right.
name.
Yeah.
And he says, "I need your help." And she's like, "No, we're done." And he goes, "Wait, stop. It's about the kids. I need your help. One of them is gone. I need you to come watch the two younger ones while I go and find her and take care of her."
Yeah.
So she says, "Okay, we're done, but I will help you because the kids are
If
involved."
there weren't kids involved.
Yeah. She says, "We are done." And he says, "Fine. Like, this is about the kids. It's not about me."
Right.
So I thought, like, okay, awesome. What a turning point. What a great way to show the shift to anybody who hadn't seen it this whole time.
John Candy's portrayal in that car, like just the single camera
Dude,
on
his
him on
face.
that car and his face. I
Yeah.
mean, he's tearing up He's upset and he's really fighting with his demons about this is, like you said, this is my year, but this is my niece.
Yeah, like, and this is the right thing to do.
Right.
Like so much of what we grew up in, like as people our age, was like
elder millennials.
The right thing to do. So many of the movies were based on this is the right thing to do. Not the movie that's playing back here where it's just explosions and ridiculous shit and
I forgot it's Transformers.
It's just people and the right thing to do and making right choices, making good choices.
Yeah, man.
But anyway,
so he gets to the party.
He's driving. And there's a couple next to him, and he says, "Hey, you know where a party is around here?" And they said, "Oh, it's over on this street." And he goes, "Oh, okay, thanks." And they said, "He's like, my niece is there." And she goes, "They're like, yeah, our son is there." Oh God! And he's like, "Okay." Like, what?
Don't
like,
wear
your
that
car,
hat.
don't wear
fire. Don't wear that.
That's
hat.
what it is. That's how they start it. Your car's on fire.
He's like, no, it's just a bit of oil.
Just a little bit of oil.
Yeah. He's like, don't wear that hat there. They'll kill you. And he's like, oh, thanks for the advice.
Yeah.
He pulls up to the car. He pulls up to the party, and everyone's on the front lawn. People are hanging out. Pulls up, and again, that car backfires. Boom. Everyone drops to the ground again. Like, I love that. I love recurring jokes like that because they're witty and they're just in good taste. That makes sense. Anyway, so he
wandering
goes
through this
the party.
whole party and he finds the room that he's in.
Yeah.
And basically it's them about to sleep with each other.
Well,
and he's knocking on the door.
I love the setup.
Yeah.
Yes, you think the whole time.
Yeah.
They never show her.
Right. Yeah. And so he's like,
he's moving through this party like he's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
he keeps doing like the I love this music and doing like the little Trump dance.
And at one point he has a beer.
I don't care how you feel about Donald Trump or politics altogether, but there is something funny about a guy who's almost 80 to every song.
Little side shift.
Doing this little dance right here. And the funny part about it to me is if you go to any wedding and you see any white guy dance, that's our move.
That's it, baby.
That's our move.
Come on, baby.
You may be smoother with it. You may be smoother with it. You may get the feet in there.
Last week we talked about Shadow as Joe Biden.
Yes.
And this week we got Trump.
You got Trump dancing through Tia's party.
Man. Yeah.
And the songs
here we go.
Yeah.
are jamming.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
But
it's what is it?
Is it Too
Bust
Late
a
to
Move?
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, he gets to the
got it, baby. You bought it, baby. You got
the
it.
move.
Yes. Don't just stand there. Bust the move.
Stone Cold Munching. Anyways, sorry.
He finally gets to the room and he's knocking on the door. Come sit next to me, you fine fellow. And he gets there and he's like knocking on the door. He's like, "Hey, if that door opens, I'm gonna beat someone's ass." And all of a sudden, a drill comes through the doorknob, and he kicks the door open, and it's the silhouette of him with the drill.
Dude,
Cloud of smoke.
Yes.
Yes.
The door busts open, and he might as well have just taken the largest drag off of any cigar anybody's ever taken in their entire life.
Shadow from Homeward Bound is underneath him going,
yes. And it just fills the space with him holding the drill, and the freaking drill bit's like this long.
Yeah, and he cuts the light on.
Yeah.
And then the girl sits up, and it's not her, and he's just like...
And the smile on Buck's face, boy. Like
that evil smile.
Not her.
Yep.
And
but
then,
it's still you, Bug.
And then he's mouthing off still.
Yeah.
And he just, instead of leaving, he moves forward.
He flips the light off
and moves forward.
And you hear the drill start.
And then and then the scene cuts
to her walking home.
And it's her walking down the street, and the car slowly rolls up, and then it's just such a poignant moment where she's walking and he's staying a little bit behind her, but still just rolling. And they just kind of hang there. They let the movie hang in this uncomfortable moment where she's walking, and then she gets to like the end of the street where she'd either have to cross or turn or whatever. And he stops the car and gets out, walks around, and just stands there. Doesn't say anything.
No.
She comes over and gets in the car.
Yeah.
And then they're
that's the great
Are
line.
you going to tell my dad? No.
Well, they don't even say anything at that point.
Yeah.
No,
She just
but
gets in the car.
That's the line that I was like, dude, this is how you write this relationship. He says, I don't care what happens. I just want to get you home safe.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just the
Because
heart.
she's been there.
John,
I mean,
yes.
he's been there where she is.
He's not her dad. Like the lecturing and stuff like that's not his place for it, but he just knows like my responsibility is to keep you safe.
And we didn't cover was when she points out, like she lets him know
like
before she leaves to the party, before this whole
Buck, you
thing
have
happens.
A bad day.
Yeah,
yes.
that she let Shanice.
Yes.
Wow, it took so long to grab that.
I was going to say
I
Clarice.
keep wanting to say chartreuse, and I'm like, that's a board with meats and cheese.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie? I like some charcuterie.
I like some charcuterie.
But yeah, she lets him know that she screwed him.
Yeah.
And but he says like, ruin your life on your parents' time. You're not going to do it on mine.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's funny because like in life, that's kind of how I try to like when I work as a manager at a restaurant, like I am here to do the best job that I can while I'm here.
Right.
And outside of here, I can't control. I'll try to help. I'll try to whatever. I'll pass along to other managers. But just try to do the best you can do right here. If everybody would do that, life would be pretty great. So it's like it's pretty like it was pretty poignant to me when he was like, on your do what you want to do on your parents' time. Screw your life up on your, but not on my time. Like you're not I'm not going to let you out of the house. But then she runs out when he's not around.
Yeah.
But
then so they
they're
get
in
back
the car.
and they get back and she's like, "Are you going to tell my dad?" He's like, "No." And they have their whole talk about how like I wish somebody had been with me like I'm being with you because then I wouldn't be all screwed up. And he's asking for advice and she's like, "I can help." And so they go back.
Well, no, they're driving in the car.
Oh yeah.
And she's like,
what did you do?
They're talking about everything, and they're having these moments. And she says, "Are you going to tell my parents?" And he says, "No, I'm not going to tell your parents."
But then she's like,
"Nothing really happened.
Yeah,
like you ran out, but you're back. Like as long as you're safe."
What'd you do to Buck?
And then he just gets this huge smile on his face, like only John Candy can.
Devilish little
and just
smile
looks over at her, and she goes. She gets the big smile,
like,
and she's like,
what?
"Oh my God, what did you do?" And then
they pull
the
over.
trunk opens,
Yep. He's tied
and there
up
he
in the
is,
trunk.
tied up, duct tape mouth, duct tape hands,
no jacket. It's cold. Like it's exactly how he found
winter.
it. Yes.
Rips that duct tape off his face, and he spits what's in his mouth at him because he's smart enough to stuff a sock in his mouth before he duct tapes his mouth, because then you really can't talk. But he starts yelling like all this crap at him.
Yeah.
And she holds up the drill, and he's like, because he says, "Say you're sorry."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm not saying I'm sorry." And she pulls up the drill, and he's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
I'm an amateur dentist. I don't know if you do that.
That's right.
Yeah. But
He is.
then he hops out of the car. They let him go, but it's in the middle of the woods. It's like I guess
No,
it's
they're
like
in the middle of the street, but he's running like
It was like
It's
the park.
it's in like the
where they were
woods
having
somewhere.
the party, you know, and they were making out. And
He
the kid's
drove
like,
them
that's
somewhere.
a stupid scene to do. That's a stupid thing to do during flu season when they're making out. And the little Maisie's like, I bet she's getting the tongue. And both of them look at her like, what? But yeah, so they let him go.
He starts talking shit as he's running away.
Starts talking, yeah,
Come back here. Come back here. I'll kick your ass.
Pops out, pops the trunk, and pulls out
About
a golf
little
ball.
5-wood action.
Yes. Pulls out a golf ball and a golf club and whacks it. And he's like, you almost, that really hurt. And then like he's giving shit. I'm going to sue you.
My dad's going to take you for everything you've got.
Drops another golf ball. Yes. That reminded me of your scene with that kid who's like, my parents will sue you. But I'm a minor.
Yeah. Ain't nothing you can do. It's like, your parents are going to sue me for everything I've got. I ain't got nothing. Let's do this.
You got shit.
You ain't got none. But they have this great, so they show up and they're all over at the house again, and they're coming, the mom and dad are coming back from, being with grandpa who makes it. He survives another, holiday, I guess. Because this movie's kind of obscure about like what time frame is. It's winter, but it's not like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, oh, it's Christmas, it's this. No, it's just kind of in the middle. But they come back and they're all kind of being quiet because they're like, we're gonna let the mom and Tia
have her like hug it out moment,
have their moment. And then, but before that too, we also get Tia talking to Shanice.
Yeah.
And she smooths things out, and Shanice gives Buck another chance.
Dude.
In a great way.
Such a funny moment.
Yeah.
Where she is basically she's been written a script for by Buck.
By Buck, yeah.
And I do love how the kids also, Miles and Maisie, start referring to him as UB.
Yeah.
UB, yes.
Yeah, because they're
UB.
like they're so tight with him that now
Yeah.
he's just UB, and he takes such good care of them.
Yeah,
But
dude.
You get
when
the
she's explaining to her,
caring
like, oh,
and loyal,
I did this,
and
and she says, "Thank you for explaining that to me. Thank you for clearing that up." But our problems go deeper than that. You know, like it's not just what happened here and what didn't happen here. And then she said, well, you know, he's shown that he's very caring, he's very loyal, he's very fun, and it's like,
She's
what
setting
the
him up.
fuck is going on?
Yeah,
here?
yeah. But Shanice is like, nah.
Yeah, she ain't buying it.
Yeah.
After the first few, she's like, wait, okay.
Did he put you up to this?
And he's outside the kitchen door listening in.
And mouthing the script.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so Shanice gets up, and look how fast that one was, and walks over to, it's not charcuterie, and walks over to the door, and Tia's coughing. Trying to warn him.
Yeah.
And so it's like a really suspenseful moment. Like, what's
Yeah.
going to happen here? And she rocks back and kicks that door open, and it cuts to the outside, and he is just to the side of the door. The door
Yes.
flies open, and you're like, oh, okay, it worked.
Yeah.
And he steps back in front of the door, and she kicks
Lights
it again.
that door up again.
And one of the smartest moves in that scene that I caught, like the very first time, like, wow, that was cool. Like, that was a smart. It flashes where the screen is red.
Like he
Yes.
got
For a
like,
split
like
second.
his nose started bleeding.
Exactly,
or something.
but
Yeah.
it's just like that 1 second of like that cinematography, the choice of like she kicks that door and that's how you know like she got him, and then huge ass John Candy flies through the air like a sack of potatoes.
Yes.
It's
Lands
so
and he's
awesome.
like, hi, honey.
And then she's like, look at this.
Coffee ready?
Is that coffee
Kinda
ready
thirsty.
yet?
And Shanice says, "They're just like, look at this," they like cracking up, laughing at it. But yeah, then so they have like
They're just hugging.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they don't say anything. They're just hugging
Well,
each
it's
other.
just like that.
And the dad
they
walks
know.
in and he's like,
Yeah.
But the best is like, it's the two little ones, John Candy and Shanice, are in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And he's like, you gotta lock it up. And they're all being quiet. And then he hits one of the pans, and the whole rack of pot and pans
Yes,
fall
crashing
over
down.
and make all this noise.
Yeah.
It cuts to John Candy. He's just like, shit.
That's how it ends. But we skipped over it. Man, it was just a brilliant movie, a brilliant part of it. When it's like after the first couple nights and the mom calls to check in and figure out like how's they doing, and he starts asking these questions because the first night he's there, he like picks up a plate and accidentally drops it that was hanging on the wall. And
Where'd you find something like that?
Yeah, no. So and he's like, oh, it doesn't break. He's like, oh, it must be non-breakable. And then he smashes it against the piano. And he's like, oh shit. But anyways, he's asking the mom all these questions. He's like, hey, so those plates hanging in the living room, where did you get those? And he's like, oh, England. Okay, so it's not like an antique shop or anything like that. And he was like, hey, by the way, how much do you feed the dog? Because I've been feeding him like 4 or 5 times a day.
Once.
And she's like, he eats once. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, because I've been leaving the toilet seats up
For him to drink out
for
of?
him to drink out of because I wasn't sure if it's water.
blue
and he's
water.
putting the blue water. Is
That
like, well,
explains.
explain some of the coloration in the lawn earlier. And she's just like, oh my God,
She's like,
who did I leave?
She's
my
like, you're
kids
killing
with?"
my kids.
Yeah, she's like, Buck. She says it in the great delivery. Buck, it gives me such relief to know you're there taking care of the kids. She's like breaking down.
It is really funny how they used just her
Yeah.
to show you
Yes.
what an idiot he is.
You really only see the dad at the very beginning and the very end. It's not, you don't see
right.
him.
Yeah.
But I mean, like for the Buck character,
Yeah.
like that's really the only time that you see how, other than the fact that he can't open the washing machine and
Can't
he
figure that
washes,
out, yeah.
he washes the clothes in like the little bar sink that they have in their massive kitchen.
Oh wait, we didn't talk about the dog and how he gets introduced.
Oh, well, that's when they walk in the beginning.
Yeah, it's very beginning there, and
then
like
she's-
Tia's like, let the dog out,
Yeah.
and Maisie yells, Percy! And the dog kicks open the dryer door. So the dog's been inside the dryer this whole. They're like, let the dog out. It's living in the It's like maybe that's why they put there's a lock, like a kid lock, on the washing machine.
But the dog can get
Yeah,
in.
so they don't accidentally kill the dog. That's what I'm assuming. And there's just some kind of kid lock. God, dude.
know.
Yeah, so like I said, when we first started this, I watched this film and I'm like, this is one of those perfect scripts. In my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it is a perfect script. Everything makes sense. Everything connects well. It's such good character development. And what's unique about it too is like it's not based on like a comic book character. You know, I'm sad to say that I'm done with Marvel movies. Like I'm just tired of them.
Well,
because they're like so many of them come out and you're just like, oh, you don't know who this person is, and then you have to watch 9 other films to understand the build up to who this guy is. It's just a character. It's just this is a person who's interesting, and this is a situation that he's in.
Well, and Marvel kind of did it to themselves.
Oh yeah,
where it's like you brought us from the beginning to end game,
right?
And it was this great story, this huge arc, and now you're trying to develop this new story, but you're not listening to fans. You're not, and it's like, all right. Well, you're lost. You're lost. You've lost your way.
Yeah,
and it's like literally, there was not a Marvel movie. There was not a thing that I would miss. And now I could not care less.
I'm done. I'm exactly in the same spot. I'm done.
Yeah.
Honestly, when Blue Beetle came out and people were like, "Oh, you should see it. It's really interesting," I'm just like, "Nah."
Are you kidding? Like, are you kidding?
Did you see Blue Beetle?
Are you kidding? And then it's like, oh, you announced, this like Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doctor Strange, and I'm like, as Doctor Doom, and I'm like,
yeah,
wait, I love Robert Downey Jr.
Yes,
but Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, like.
That happens in the comics, though.
See, yeah.
But they're supposedly not using him the same. It's not. And you have to establish Doctor Doom before you can do. So it's like, what? But what they're trying to do is cash in on the love.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, how about you just make the fucking movies good again?
Well, you have all this multiverse crap. You can just bring Iron Man back.
Yeah, we could just do that.
Or you could just make good movies.
That's my point, though. It's just like it's so much you have to understand about characters before you actually. You didn't know anything about Uncle Buck before this movie started.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right, and by the end of the movie, you know enough, and you love Uncle Buck. You don't need Uncle Buck 2, The Returning or something. I don't know, like or
The Reckoning.
Yeah, The Reckoning. Yeah.
I think we've talked about this. The hatchening, the begin. Yes, the hitchening,
the pancakening,
the hatchening. Don't worry about it.
So the Nat circumcision.
But I think we talked about this before. Where like a lot of it's when things like these studios grow so large and start consuming
everything,
all the little studios.
Yeah.
Then you lose those smaller market movies that are like, hey, this is just a story that I came up with. It needs to be this ultra blockbuster, and streaming has killed movies.
That's
like
true.
has killed theater movies. So in the future, what I think will start happening, and you're kind of seeing it now, where like movies like Uncle Buck are going straight to streaming services, but so much bullshit is put out on these streaming services that it's hard to tell. And unless something goes viral,
right,
then. And for those of you not watching on YouTube, it quote unquote goes viral.
right,
you're not going to see it. Like you're not going to, because there's too much.
Exactly. There's too much. Which actually, you know, it's funny. I heard that Stranger Things didn't test well.
The new one?
No.
Or the original?
Very first original episode did not test well.
Well,
people weren't super excited about it.
You could go back to any movie,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, this didn't test well, but it was a huge success.
And then they released it, and they thought we're going to get a season out of it. Now we're going on to season 5 of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years, which is crazy. It's
all those kids, those children's is grown.
Yeah, they're all grown and
those
drinking,
children's
doing their own lives.
They're fornicating.
Oh God!
Oh great heaven!
Oh good heavens! Oh no! Anyways, you want to walk us out of this one?
Thank you so much for listening. I cannot suggest anymore. If you see the name John Candy,
yes,
go watch this movie.
100%.
Any
100%.
movie, especially Uncle Buck. It is so good, so funny, so much fun. Especially the first time you see it. If you've never seen it, it is awesome. But yeah, like I can't suggest. Like we've done, like you said, The Great Outdoors has been one of my favorite movies for years. Since I was a child, my parents took the VHS and hid it in their room, and I'm like, I'm in here at 5 years old watching Predator, and you're taking The Great Outdoors away from me. But thank you guys so much for listening. Check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, like every jackass always says. Bing. But comment, please, on everything. Comment on Instagram, wherever you see us. write a comment. Leave your thoughts.
Drop your favorite emoji in the chat.
Happy,
Anything.
sad, mad, bitchy. I don't care. Just comment.
Eggplant donut, eggplant.
Whoa. Sounds like a plan to
Tell
me.
you.
Anyway,
Save that
but
for
yeah,
later.
thank you. And then check us out on nostalgialandpodcast.com
Perfect.
and on Etsy at nostalgialandshop.com.
That's the one.
And then check out Sunny D vodka seltzers because they's delicious.
Not officially sponsored, but
Nope.
it's just good to
Just
mention.
delicious.
I mean,
Tasty.
Just a recipe
And for those
a
of
good
you who don't
time.
know and you're watching on the YouTubes, this is our cup.
yeah.
Me and Trey has it.
Left mine at home.
It's fine. We got 2. We don't need 3. But they are wonderfully made. They're I've had it for months now. You use it all the time, and still just as good as the day I got it. Hasn't faded, hasn't done
got
anything,
good-
and I hand wash it, so
It's got
I'm a little
good
rough
grip
on it.
there.
It's got nice grippers.
Trey's gonna got a good grip.
Ooh.
got
Check out
grippers on it.
Trey's
Shout out to the gripper.
Thank God. If you make like a foot cam, I'm leaving.
Put one down here.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna lose the wrestling,
And it's just gonna be gripper cam.
and it's just gonna be gripper cam.
You need to come up with.
And I
your-
really hope that she is listening to the end of this episode and hears this.
You need to come up with your foot persona. Like
I don't know if she thinks that I'm calling this out to try and like win her over. I'm not. We think it's that funny. The Grippers thing is so awesome. Has been such an add to this show. But we seriously cannot thank you enough. Cannot tell you how much we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
I hope you're enjoying it. Please comment so that we know what you want to hear, where you want us to go with the future of this show.
Yeah.
Until next time,
I'm Matt.
Trey.
and I'm Tyler. Cowabunga.
Cowabunga.